Welcome, everybody, to the Week 6 recap. Live here from Louise's downtown upstairs. Before we get started and jump in tonight, we're going to take a minute to recognize one of the KVKL family and close friends of a lot of folks. Tonight's episode is dedicated to Dana Shoop. So we're going to take a moment of silence, and if you got a drink here, go ahead and raise it. This one's for Dana. All right. Now we're going to jump into the Week 6 recap, starting right off at YSC 1 at 5 p.m. D-Holes 5, KBC Tropics 6.
I'm not talking.
Right into the notes. Drennan scratched in the 5th inning. Encroachment by the D-Holes in the 9th inning. Bickle tagged out at home. Ariel had a nice bunt in the 7th. Bunt, not butt. Issue with lineup. Kelsey kicking instead of Megan. Before we jump into anything, I'm going to give this microphone right over to our featured speaker tonight, not on the panel, but our yearly appearance, the KVKL's most sexiest groundhog, Dover.
Also known as Christopher. Hi, Christopher.
New microphone.
Well,
Yes, sir.
well, damn, that's a hell of an introduction. Thank you. All right, well, I have a yarn to spin for this game because it was a hell of a good one. And by the way, a lot of the tropics are right over here. So if you guys want to come up and interrupt me at any point, if I get anything wrong, let me know. Because frankly, a lot of people didn't have a great deal of fun at the end of this game, but I did later thinking about it. I was talking to, can I get a chair, maybe?
Yeah, of course, here. Have a seat, sir.
I need to cross my legs and light a pipe. So I was talking to Nick Lerner after the game, right? Now, Nick Lerner's reffed games since before me, and I was reffing games since about 2007, right? And I've reffed every week since, and played every week almost, since about 2010, let's say, when I became captain. And I've never seen anything like this. The game turned into what I would call kickball chess at the end of it. And I thought it was actually pretty awesome later when I had time to think about it. And before I even get into it, I just want to say this. I'm mostly here on an apology tour. I want to apologize to everyone on my team for my stupid clerical error, my dumb mistake. And I want to apologize to everyone on Tropics for the same. Because what it turned into was, about an hour and a half into a game in 105-degree weather, they all had to stand in the dugout in the sun for 15 minutes while I was over haggling with the refs, and then probably another 7 minutes while I was trying to sort out 10 people talking to me at the same time in my dugout, because, of course, I had to be the next kicker, right? So they had to sit there for maybe 20 whole minutes, baking in the sun, and we all know how fucking annoying it is when the flow of the game gets paused by a council with the refs, you know? So I do apologize for that. It was completely my fault. I filled out the official lineup, and I filled out my lineup, and then I edited my lineup, and I failed to go over. I got distracted, and I failed to go over and edit the official lineup. So we had a goofed up lineup. And ultimately what happened was, in the 9th inning, I was going to be the first kicker in the 9th inning. Mind you, Cougar, I'm in the 10 spot, right? We thought that Megan was in the 11 spot in the trade-off. She didn't even know if she wanted to play, so she hadn't kicked yet. In the 9th inning, hadn't kicked. But she decided that she wanted to play a one-and-one, right? So she went out and she played defense. So now she needed to kick. We thought I was going to kick, and then she was going to kick. No problem. But there was a problem. The problem was that on the official board, she was in the 8th spot, trading with Haley. Shout out to Haley. And Megan. And so, obviously, what the refs point out to me is that I can't just go out there and shake the other captain's hand and change that board. It happens sometimes. I've done it myself as a ref. It's happened, but it's not the rules. So Clint's reffing, and he says it's inappropriate to do because it's against the rules. And so we have two choices. I'm kicking in the 10 spot. We have to get Megan to kick in the 8 spot. It's the 9th inning, and we're the visitor. So we have two choices. We can either try to kick all the way around to the 8 spot to get Megan to get her foot on the ball, or we can try to orchestrate a tie to get into extra innings so that we have a better chance of Megan getting her foot on the ball, because we don't want to lose with a forfeit, obviously. Well, actually, and this is what I'd love to know, because there are details I don't know on your guys' side. Did anyone go over and explain all this to you all? Because we're over in my dugout talking about all of that before I go up to kick. And of course, we all agree, like, we need to try to score as much as we can, regardless. So we weren't going to go up and just try to, kick out or anything like that, right? We're like, let's see how much we can score. I mean, it's 4-2 at this point. It was a pretty close game. Did anyone go over and explain the situation to you, or did you all figure out that we might want to orchestrate a tie?
I just went to the rest.
Hi, microphone. Get up here.
Hello. Okay. Yeah. Well, so first of all, I didn't even know what was going on for the first 5-10 minutes of it, and then when I found out, I had to go and I explained to my team what was going on. So we didn't know that you guys were going to try to tie it up. I had to set it up as a vote to my team, and it was do we want to just keep going as usual or just try to end it here? Like you said, we were standing in the heat. I think there was some exhaustion kicking in. I think some players were just ready to get the fuck out of there. So we're let's just get the 3 outs, go home, call it what it is, move on. And I have my thoughts on that. I left it up to my team. But at the end of the day, I'm glad that the game played out the way it did versus how it could have if we just took 3 outs. So.
Yeah, me too, because I didn't want to forfeit. And it's never fun to win 2-4. That's weird, right? I mean, you guys ended up winning on runs, but we'll get there. They did. I mean, they did get us in the end.
I have one thing real quick, Dover. I just want to say, maybe I guess we'll find out because there was a forfeit this year. But I'm a firm believer that I don't think a forfeit really matters anymore, and that was kind of where that's kind of where I net out, because now the schedule is discretionary. There was no, if you guys won the game, we would all have record of that. And you really aren't going to end up getting punished for that in any way, shape, or form, at least in my opinion.
What is the current rule with that? Is it 2 forfeits
you lose
and you're
7,
on...
Well, you lose 7-0 on your record, but your record really doesn't matter because at the end of the day, the board's going to go through and rank. But in the previous world, it would matter because your record would get you into the 1s or get you into the 2s, but that world doesn't exist anymore.
It doesn't assert capacity when we go head to head.
Yeah, I get that, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But if we actually lived in a world, and we don't live in this world, when comes time for the seedings, you and the tropics will not be right next to each other. That is,
you can't be wrong on an opinion. You just have one.
What I will say is that I don't know. I hope we don't live in this world. I don't think we live in a world where we're going to pretend that if you guys had won the game and had to forfeit because of the Megan issue, that the board would pretend that you guys actually lost that game, because to me, that goes against what we're trying to accomplish when we're seeding teams. And I think we could all agree that you guys kicked a legal lineup regardless of the fact that Megan just never kicked. And so that's kind of where my thought process would be. If I was you guys, I never would have tried any of that. I would have been like, hey, give me my forfeit. I don't care. I won the game.
I completely agree. I never thought of it that way, because I'm not even thinking about seeding at all. It's more like I just wanted it to be a forfeit, because that kind of sullies everything for all the players, who had to stand out in 120 degrees, and battle for 2 hours to lose because of my stupid clerical error. I just didn't want to have to face that, so that's selfish. But the other thing is, isn't it if you get 2 forfeits though in a year, that you're on probation the next year or something?
You're out of it.
You're out.
So that's pretty bad.
That's a good take. That's a good take.
I'm worrying about the cliff we're about to fall off of, possibly. Yeah. So to me, that's what the forfeit was all about. So we desperately didn't want to get one, because who knows what might happen. Especially when your captain's a drunken garden gnome. This might happen more in the future. We'll see.
By the way, Bryce, to answer your question, has there been a forfeit already? Yes, there has, because week 3, Ball Beavers Empire. Yes. So yeah, there's one. Yeah.
And I guess my take is we again don't live in Empire and Ball Beavers are not right next to each other, but respectfully, I believe they run ruled the shit out of them. Didn't they? Like, I mean, we have a board member in front of us, maybe, or another one over there. Like, Ball Beavers are not better than Empire. We can't pretend like that exists. So, like, that's kind of where my take is. Like, a forfeit isn't hurting you in the long run because there's not a short run anymore. So
right, no, I get it in that way, absolutely. I hadn't even thought of that. I was just worried about the other thing. Yeah. I was worried about the nuclear option. Okay, but this game is so interesting. I have to get back to my yarn. So we're trying to orchestrate a tie, right? Now, they come out, and you could say cleverly, like, they have two options. Their options are try to score 3 runs in the 9th inning. Keep in mind, this is a 4-2 game. This has been a defensive battle, right? Or they could come out and just kick fouls, foul out 3 people, and win on a forfeit, right? Okay. Well, then, to counter that, first off, it was Sam Beeham. Shout out to Sam Beeham. He was the one that figured out. He was the first one to realize that we could try to orchestrate a tie to stretch the game out. Genius. I was too busy pouting and feeling sorry for myself for making such a stupid mistake to have my head in the game. But then it was Alex Hammond, of course, that came up with the idea that, well, to counter their strategy of fouling out, we'll just use catcher encroachment. Catcher encroaches, it forces the other team to take 2 bases, right? So we're like, we can force them to score 2 runs, but then we have to get 3 outs before they score again, right? So it was already dicey for us. And their whole lineup's good, so it's not like there's some spot where that's not dangerous. And then, but then they figured out, you see, catcher encroachment's great, but once a player's on base, they can still force an out, right?
Lead off, yeah.
So this is So what they did was the old leaving early thing. As soon as we pitched the ball, they'd have their player on second base now leave the base, automatic out. Genius, right? So
Absolutely
I was over there.
Genius. Belichick level of genius.
No, it's genius. It's genius.
I will say too, unless the rule, you can decline catcher encroachment or catcher interference in baseball. You never would do it because this situation would never occur.
They moved that away. We can't decline the catcher unless it's on a. The only time you can decline a catcher interference in baseball is if a ball is put in play on it. So say you wanted to have that option when your catcher steps out to touch or impede you, kick the flipping ball and hope it goes and lands in your favor, and you can get on and only take 1 base suddenly. But that would be because we had actually discussed this on the side while this was happening. We discussed this weeks prior in a separate chat of how you would stop that from occurring, and the only way that you could stop that from occurring is if you kick the ball and put it in play. Then you get to take the option of, do you want the 2 bases, or because potentially you could get a home run, do you want to take the home run on the play if it was a live ball?
Yeah.
So there's like 5 different angles of things that could happen just from this one decision.
Oh, right.
And
there's multiple things here. So, obviously this is all just people are talking out loud about this, so there was no like secret councils. Like if we were more clever, we would have let them foul out 2 people, so there's 2 outs, and then come out with our counter to it, right? But everyone was just trying to figure out how to stay in the game. So they did that thing, right, to force out, and then it was Megan Hammond who figured out that, well, the only thing that might counter that is pitcher encroachment. If the pitcher just stands in front of the line and pitches the ball, well, that's pitcher encroachment every pitch, right? And that's that stops them being able to get off the bag. So it was a tit for tat. Who can massage the rules enough to like not do the thing? Ultimately, they did get 2 runs. It was tied up, and then we did somehow get those outs. There was a real close play at home with someone sliding that was actually really awesome. I think that was a redirect by old Alex Hammond. It was pretty dope. So now the game starts over, right? Tie ball game, 10th inning. We're up to kick. We do just manage. Megan was the 4th kicker. We do manage to get to her. She does kick. Far as we know, we end the game with a legal lineup. But we only score 1 run. And then they get up, and was your first kick a double or a triple? A double. So they kick a double. Their second kick gets them to third. What? Huh?
Willis bunted.
I can tell you as the person that coached them to this win. Willis bunted, and I knew he was fast enough to get it done. And I'll go into where I think you guys went wrong offensively after this, but with Ari at first, I told Willis, I was like, to win this game right now, you have to get to third base on this next play. Because I knew Cedric was not going to throw the ball if Willis was standing there. And so I told Alex Garcia, who, in my opinion, Alex Garcia won them this game, for the record. I said, so you stand 1 foot behind the plate, and you just tap the ball down third base. This is the most important kick of the game. Down the line to third base. So it takes him time to throw you out. You can't give them an easy out to you at first base.
Sure.
So Willis has time to get to third.
Right.
It worked. And then my take is, like, I mean, I heard him say, like, Cedric and Harmon, like, don't throw it. And so like, the second you say that, it's like, okay, Tyrell, I told Tyrell to bunt and just run to second base. Because if he would have thrown it, then Willis could have ran home.
Yeah.
And Tyrell bunted to the pitcher, which was the wrong thing to do. So he was stuck at first base. So then I had Reese bunt to third base, and then they didn't throw it again. And, like, then Ryan came up to kick, shanked it the first time, which was almost a miracle for you guys if you guys would have been able to get that out. But then he popped out to the outfield, scored the run, runners at second and third, and then Cole, who I had never seen in my life before that moment, came up to kick and kicked it.
Yeah, but you're not on Tropics, right?
No. I'll say
you just stepped in to
I'll
help
say,
him win. Beat thanks a lot, buddy.
I felt like your guys' pitcher was kind of being... I think the heat was getting to your pitcher is what I'll say about that.
It was hot out there.
And I love the Pendries, and I was like, you know what, like, let me put on a coaching masterclass here. And so what I'll say, my quick 30 seconds on this, is that you guys should have done the same thing that they did to you in the first, because you guys got a runner on third.
Yeah, no,
one out.
I'm following you, and like,
yeah,
actually,
and
we should have.
And like the second that you guys only scored one run,
yeah,
you guys, when Willis was on third, you can't worry. You have to accept when Willis gets to third base with 1 out or no outs that you are not going to win the game in that inning unless they make a massive error. And you guys should have been trying to get the out at first base and just accepted that Willis was going to.
Oh, I agree. You know, so I'm over on the side. I'm always screaming. I actually don't even care about any situation. I'm always saying in kickball, well, we can score runs. Other teams are going to score runs. So just get the out. Always get the easy out. I like outs. I like runs and I like outs. And I don't even give a shit about the other team scoring because ultimately, if we can score more runs than them, then we win, right? But if we try to hold runs and try to play like it's baseball, well, I don't know if you've ever thrown a kickball, but it's not a baseball. We don't have as much control as we think of the defense. So let's always just get the outs. But yeah, no, you know what? You are right about that. But they came out on fire. And just scored 2. I mean, we don't even know how many they would have scored, right? Because the game was over right then and there. But they could have scored more. I think there was only 1 out, maybe. So they got us by runs in overtime. And but ultimately, that is the most interesting game I've ever watched. I had to be part of it.
It's the most bizarre game I've been a part of. 20 years in this league, so many games, and some weird ones. It's by far the most bizarre.
But I also hate to sound so excited about it because that's the nerd in me. But again, I have to apologize to my whole team for giving us the absolute hardest path to victory in a game that we were doing pretty well in. I mean, it was 4-2 coming into the 9th. Who knows how it would have turned out? Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
All right. Just a quick...
Oh, wait. No, I have to give props to every single person on my team. I can't name you all. I've talked too much already. Bye.
I'm on? Yes. All right. Just a suggestion to the board. Can you have a rule where all the requirements have to be satisfied by the 9th inning so that when it's extra innings, if somebody hasn't kicked, it's automatic forfeit?
It's funny you say that, Farai.
Just an idea.
Because this entire situation has reiterated my entire fact that I've been saying for years. There are laminated sheets on the scoreboards that have been there since 2017 when I joined that tell you what your job is in every position as a referee. As a scorekeeper, it is your job to be the official scorekeeper of the game. If you don't know who someone is, ask them what their name was when they walk up. Not that hard. Really not that hard. The fact that our scorekeeping has taken a dip in the last season now, 2 seasons, is super, super depressing for me because that's a big part of our game and that's a big part of where we've had forfeits and issues with our situations that we've had. Dover and I spoke earlier about the situation. It has not been brought up as a conversation in the board or anything like that. There are some things that you definitely did wrong that not only you did wrong, but the scorekeeper missed and did wrong, the head ref missed and did wrong, the other team probably missed and didn't realize to maybe check their lineup as well.
Cougar did some stuff wrong too. I was there.
While we all said this is a bizarre game, and I appreciate that we're talking about it in the aftermath.
What
but
exactly did I do wrong?
Take this now 25-minute rant about this one game and what happened, and literally learn from it, please. I know that probably half of you in the league aren't even listening to this right now, but we rely on each other. And if we're going to bitch at each other, then do your job in the first place. That's all I'm saying. Also, one more thing. Bryson, you got to be captain of another team, too? What the hell, man?
I have no strong thoughts or opinions on this outwardly. So we're just going to move on. YSC won at 7 p.m. Kept it under 30 minutes. It was only 19. YSC won at 7 p.m. Red Lion 9, Corksuckers 11. Now, here's one thing that I'm going to change about the rest of the year. I'm looking at this game, and it has absolutely no notes. So moving forward, to encourage all scorekeepers to be actively involved in the games, when I get to your game, if you do not leave notes for another game, we're going to spend just as much time on yours, which will be none. Thank you for tuning in. You want to talk about your teams? Come on down here and attend in person.
Podcast on the radio.
Does anybody have any comments about the Corksuckers Red Lion game? I did not catch this. I think the general feel was that it should have been a good game, more than likely a Red Lion win. So I think kind of an upset, at least in my opinion. Well, I mean, we can do a quick summary.
This is from Ben. This is from Ben from Red Lion. Quote, fun game. Rutschner came out to play for Lion. Cork kicked great, and we came out a little lethargic. Made a run of it late, tightened up on deep, but came up a kick or two short. Don't know what Cork's deal was in some of the early season games, but they definitely played better than in prior scorelines might have suggested, quote unquote.
Yeah.
I want to say, I'm not going to say respectfully before this because Cedric posted about me on his Facebook wall. But, man, Red Lion was the 5 seed 2 years ago.
Yeah.
They own.
2 years ago. 2 years? And
Bryson, you're that old. It only takes one season to go down.
2 years? That's crazy.
Not to short sell anybody.
It was
Clint, Wes, and Ben leading off for the Corksuckers. 6 for 6 between the two with 6 runs scored in the first 2 innings. So I think that alone right there, the big difference maker, getting a lot of production out of the 1 through 5 spots. It looks like, if you can hold Corksuckers off at the top, then you're going to have a pretty good shot at playing against them and having a good game. Red Lion just not able to get it going, not getting many people on base or around. So story of the game was not getting on and not scoring.
I think they tried to come back a little late on. And if you watch the video,
Red Lion put up 5 from the 6th to the 9th.
Yeah, that sun was blaring, and those men were glistening. I didn't think they had enough towards the end.
YSC 2 at 5 p.m. Young Spine 6, Free State 4. Notes on this, Young Spine defense, they had a triple play in the bottom of the first with bases loaded and bloody ball in the top of the 5th.
What's that about, bloody ball?
I don't know. That sounds gross. I got to watch a little bit of this game, not much. I would say that I'm surprised by the score, but the way that Free State's turned around since week 2, I don't think that this is surprising to me at all.
I'm not surprised it was close either.
I'll say I'm surprised that it's close.
I'm a little surprised too.
Yeah.
But this was supposed to be a close week in terms of where we're at in our rankings.
Yeah, but I would argue that at least the season has shown that Young Spine was underseeded and Free State was at least a little bit overseeded. And my take is not obviously the transitive math never works in kickball. You can't say, oh, they beat this guy and they lost this guy, so this will work. But the Free State did lose to Woost, which is in a completely different caliber on the rankings than Young Spine. So that to me is surprising, but honestly, it like maybe kind of really just depends that who knows what the hell happened that week. But
Well,
it
that's
was
right.
at
I would
least
say
a
too.
blend.
Like we talk about this all the time about like rankings and whatever, and team to team. Like teams change week to week because of just 1-2 people that are gone that week. I mean, we're not professionals. We're not the same team every single week. Half the time, most of the time for some teams, and we have to allow for that to give some leeway of the fact that sometimes you might not play the same way you did
Did
last
Young
week.
Spine lose Heather? From what I heard, did
Yes,
Young
yeah,
Spine
she's
lose
not on the
Heather?
team, no,
Okay,
no.
all right. Anyway,
I got summaries on both captains. First from Seth from Free State. Quote, bases loaded, no outs in the bottom of the first. We only scored 1 run thanks to a triple play. Jesus, triple play. Really set the tone for the entire game as both teams had numerous double plays and outs on the base paths. Low scoring affair was tied 1 apiece through 5, but eventually Spine broke through with 3 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th. We never had an inning where we scored more than 1 run, which was the difference. Had a tying run on base in the bottom of the 8th, but just couldn't get that big kick that we needed one. Spine is a good team with plenty of athleticism and has a realistic shot at the Twain. That was from Seth. So I got for Tyler as well. Sorry. From Tyler from Young Spine. Quote, was a heavily defensive game by both teams. Both teams had a few errors on both sides of the ball, which resulted in a fairly low-scoring game. Free State doubled us on the first and responded with a triple play that same inning. Wow, triple play. Shout out to our gals for playing all game with no subs, and they're absolutely amazing with a big factor of success so far this season. And while I'm glad our winning streak continues, I do apologize for ruining Mookie's cookies for everyone.
He needs more practice before I buy his cookies.
Yeah, I don't know. There you go.
YSC 2 at 7 p.m. Whoever ref this game, you're on notice. Oh, that'd be Cougar. Oh, imagine that. D-Holes and Tropics.
Scorekeeper was Chris and Paul from D-Hole.
There are no notes, so we're going to go Rockets 0, Midnight Tokers 15. Shutout.
Midnight Tokers are good.
Yep.
Midnight Tokers are good, man. They are good.
So I don't know how much you watched the Midnight Tokers live there, Bryson. So I read this game. They're a good team, but it's more like, no offense to Rockets, more like bad Rockets.
No, it's the Rockets, but I mean, this is the same team that only lost by 5 to LSF. I mean, it's like
I know. But
Midnight Tokers' first year in the league looked better than anybody in that 11 to 20 looked in their first year in the league. Yeah. And that's kind of where, I mean, I know they're not good enough to beat anybody in the top 10, but they're good.
No, they're a good team. As far as the 15-0 is more so, no offense, more bad Rockets, but no.
Well, that's what's always tough as a board, and we've had this happen a few times the last few years where we have to have a new team come in and we can't just rank them the way that we think. While I would have loved to rank them above 36 because knowing who was on their team and how long they've played, we knew this was going to happen because of who's on the team itself.
Oh yeah, Jackson Wagner had a 3-run home run for Midnight Tokers, and no, I will not mention who he used to play for. Sean yelled at me, so there you go.
I mean, definitely our newcomer Diana Plate front runner, as opposed to the previous team that actually won the Diana Plate. That's not with us anymore.
Well, yeah.
Moving on.
YSC 3 at 5 p.m. Ball Beavers 10, late fees 21. Ball Beavers, Allie made all 3 outs in the 6th. Nice catch by Alicia in right field in the 7th. Make that 2 great catches. Khalil popped the ball with a kick in the 8th. Curley got a triple on a bunt overthrow at first. Late fees, one-handed catch by shortstop Eli in the 5th. Great tunes by late fees, per usual. Home run by Neff in the 7th to get the lead and never look back. I'd have to look. Was that a grand slam?
I think it was.
I think it was a grand slam by Neff, and that literally was the turning point. I mean,
Cougar,
we ref this game, and
well, I was going to say, Cougar, I feel you're about to read notes. I mean, Sean and I'm wrong, but I mean, we ref the game. We don't need to read notes. You know what I mean? Yeah, we were there. We watched the whole game. No, dude, I'll say this. I said this to Sean before the game. I said there's no way that the Ball Beavers got run ruled by the Ringers when I looked at them. They're like a football team that looks good off the bus. Yeah. They're like, holy shit, that guy's going to run us all over. We're not going to be able to beat this team. But when they come out to play, unfortunately, the kickball does not follow the looks. But I'll say, there were like little small glimpses of this team this team doesn't know what they're doing, but they have the skills that if they did know what they were doing, they could be way better. It was really fun to watch, really good. The late fees catchers situation, I don't know if any of you guys watched the film. I have no clue what they're doing. They're like catching in Topeka. And it's like, it doesn't work, but I'm not going to tell anyone how to play kickball that doesn't want to know how to play kickball. But no, I thought this game was really fun. And it was really cool for me, at least, to see the Bald Beavers tie it up. Because it was always very apparent. Yeah, they tied it up. It was very apparent that the late fees were the better team, like the whole time. But the late fees kind of like fell asleep in the middle of the game, and Bald Beavers I think had like a 3 or 4 run inning, and then that's when the 7th inning came, and it was over. I think they kicked around almost. Yeah,
well, it's just closing games too, and that's where Bald Beavers I think just is a little bit short in what you're saying. Lily Fees is a veteran team together. Bald Beavers is still a little bit newer, still trying to figure it out. I also asked for the microphone because maybe you should just go help them coach, Bryson.
And let me tell you too, though, like Bryson said, having watched this team.
Bryson should just be all-time coach for everybody on the league. Never play again. Just coach everybody.
That'll be a couple years when I can't move anymore.
So, all the credit in the world. We played the late fees earlier this year. I think we kind of know what to expect from them. They've had a real tough schedule this year. So this, I don't think this result was unexpected. What I think was a bit unexpected was, like Bryson said, the resolve that we saw out of the Beavers seemed early, overmatched and out of the game. And then the top of their lineup, they're 1 through 4 clearly anchoring that team. It is something that they can look forward to building around if they can retain some of those players. But just, I don't think Andrea was there this week. I could be wrong. But just some of the coaching, having the newer players coaching first and third, it really took a toll. I can't think of his name, but there is one guy who just, if you met him anywhere, you would be intimidated. And he could kick the ball. He's fast as fuck, but was thrown out twice at first and once at third purely because of watching the ball rather than the play. And just little things like that, which led to a second or third out with runners on. You're talking about erasing 5, 6, 7 runs with a good kick in any given inning off the board. And looking at the result, that makes this one hell of a game. So the Beavers, a lot better than weeks 1 through 2, and still a lot of room to grow before the tournament or even week 10. So I'd like to see where they and who they get matched up with week 10.
So respectfully, Bryson might become the Marcus Marcus GoPro. Why are you coaching their team? Why are you coaching your own team and not ours?
What do you mean?
That's what people will be complaining about.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird how the spirit of the league is to have fun and be helpful, and when you do that, you get chastised? What an odd concept. Yeah, God forbid. YSC 3 at 7 p.m. Cyport CBK 21, Empire 6. Notes on this game. Cyport, Trip with a 2 RKI homer. Willow with a great out at home. Willow with a rundown on Sean at home. Steph with an awesome catch at pitcher. Empire, Keyshawn with an in-the-park home run in the first. Rosa had a offensive interference, which we had to call out for a double play. Adam with a sliding catch for the third out. Did you get a comment from Brant?
I did get a comment from Brant, and this is probably a lot of them are just like mirroring what you just said there. Quote, Arvell and Matt were missing. That really hurt us this week. Willow tore it up. Keyshawn, our rookie outfielder, kicked the leadoff homer in the first. Becky had RKI in 5 out of 6 games this year for us. Wow, that's impressive, Becky. Tomas has scored almost every single game as well. Our other outfielder, Adam, you just mentioned, had an amazing sliding catch late in the game. Cyport is a top 15 team. If you disagree, then go run the tape. There's plenty of it. If you still disagree, then you respectfully get your eyes checked, quote unquote.
Shout out Brant.
Out from Brant.
That's a good take. Yeah, I don't have much to say. first thing, I felt like Derek was hate reffing our game because I stole Katie Marcus from him. Because if you watch the clip, he was so adamant that Rosa didn't hit the ball out of my hands when Rosa herself like admitted that she hit the ball out of my hands. And it's like I don't like. There was an interference call. They didn't call. Like they're like, wait, that was interference. I'm like, hey, I just want to get out of here. Like, let's not call it. But it's like. She like shoved it out of my hand. Like she like shoved.
So she pulled A-Rod and
like I went to.
You transformed into Bronson Arroyo.
Yeah.
In that moment.
I tagged her. She was like shoved it out of my hands. And Derek's like, no, she was running, and I was like, no, she wasn't. But nonetheless, it was fun. Kate, I didn't realize till like the fourth inning. Like if you watch, like the home run, like Katie Marcus was apparently really sick, and she didn't tell me. And I like the third time she got like burnt. I was like, "What the fuck is going on out there?" And Haley's like, "She does not feel good at all." And I was like, "Oh shit!" And so I moved her into the infield so she wasn't like getting cooked by the sun. But no, it was fun to play Empire. I'm pissed Arvell is ducking the fade. I wish Arvell would have been there. And Matt didn't play for whatever reason, but it was fun. It was another week for us to get better, and we did, and that's all we can do.
I'm not surprised that Marcus didn't say anything. She's a strong-ass bitch and would definitely not say a damn thing and still play her position. I also need to have a huge shout-out to Willow for showing up this week. I intake all of the score. It was the second week because it was last week. I actually didn't do this week. That's right. I am so happy that she's back, honestly. I think that was a huge loss to Empire from the beginning of the season, and they all knew it, and we all knew it. And they're such a great compliment to our league and
Absolutely.
what we want our league to be. And I would love to see her come back more.
Good to have you.
More.
No, I was just talking to Katie Marcus after the game. Like, all she said was, I didn't play well. She never mentioned sickness at all, period. No, I know she never will, no.
Yeah, and I mean, not playing well, that's going 3 for 4, scoring twice, and having 2 RKIs. If that's not playing well, I'll take that on my team every single fucking week. Double down, shout out to Empire. The strides they've made in the last 2 years are nearly immeasurable. It's going to be exciting to see what they do this year in the playoffs once they get back to full strength. So good luck to Empire the rest of the year. YSC4 at 5 p.m. Soda Jerks 2, Rick Rollers 17.
Malloy.
Rick Rollers, Jeff told the base runner to run when the pitcher had the ball. Go figure. Jerks, great double plays by the Jerks.
So the first thing I want to say was that game was so hot. Like 5 o'clock, it was just super hot. Like sweat was all down my shades. Like it was crazy. Still proud of the team. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing. We're improving. Some things we got to tighten up, especially playing D-holes this week. But I think we'll be good. I honestly believe that if we beat D-holes this week, we'll go undefeated for the rest of the season. I know we got Young Spine at the end of the season, but I think we match up well. They're fast, we're fast. They're young, we're young. I think it'll be a game of who can make the fewest mistakes. So that's just kind of where I'm at. But one game at a time. That's really it.
Any other thoughts? Any other comments?
Thank God I saved Katie Marcus from that, man.
YSC4 at 7 p.m. Shirt Factory 20, Harpies 3. The notes on this game, Shirt Factory, Paul did not kick, but the enough already rule was enacted, so the lineup remains legal. Which, yes, is directly written into our into the league rules and have always been there. So, not much real discussion about that. Did you have any insights, Cougar?
No, I just got summaries on both teams. That's all there is.
All
right. This one is from Brett from Shirt Factory. Quote, best game of the year for the shirts. Everyone on the team did their job to perfection, and we finally put it together. Lockdown defense, bunting, and well-placed kick fueled us that early 23 victory. Tons of highlight plays to name a few. Ian with in the park home run. Willoughby burning the left fielder with a double. Steve laying down a beauty of a bunt and unhitching a trailer for a single. So that was from Brett. On the other side, we got from Stacy, who we'll find in just a moment here. Stacy from Harpy said this, quote, Shirt Factory played a great game. They are great at place kicking and bunting, and they took advantage of our lack of catcher. They bunted the entire game, and we're trying to fill that spot as best we could. Everyone's made for catching right now is nearly affecting us defensively. Unfortunately, we are plagued with injuries again this year, and we're just trying to make adjustments before the tournament. We'll have Andre starting this week, and hopefully he will possibly fill that catcher spot, unquote. That's it.
I won't say much of a surprise on this one. I think the score a little lopsided as we all see.
Well, the thing is, last year at the beginning of the season, the Harpies won 17-3 to start the 2023 season. So it's like the mirror opposite.
Yeah.
They're figuring it out still.
Yeah, they're still figuring out, working through the injuries, reworking. I know the lineup looks quite a bit different. A lot of split kicking for Shirt Factory. And, you know, for the Harpies, just really trying to find that one thing that's going to stick. So see how they continue to heal up and what they can do next week.
This is a very different Shirt Factory from last year. Very, very different. We're playing them in the game of the week, week 9.
Yeah,
okay.
Just get closer.
It is week 9, yes.
Okay. So I watched them when we ref their game against Global, and they are definitely a very, very, very different team. Dante, center fielder, the Channel brothers. Yep, they look legit.
YSC 5 at 5 p.m. Youngling 14, Asteroid Head 5. Asteroid Head tunes were on point. Youngling Harden home run on bunt in the 5th. Jason triple in the 6th. Shipley's grunts are on point too. Did Shipley send you anything, or was it just a gif of grunting noises?
No, he didn't send me anything.
No?
He said, was there anything? He's like, no, not really.
Number 2 grunter in the league after Cosgrove.
Yeah, Cosgrove does grunt quite well. So just kind of looking over, you know, it looks like a late start really for Youngling. Not scoring until the 3rd, and then between the 3rd and the 8th dropping 13 runs. So at that point, I mean, Asteroid Head was already up 4-0 and then 4-1, and just lost all momentum in the game. So not really out of the norm. Especially for Asteroid Head this year, kind of an up and down season. So, yeah.
2 weeks ago they had 15 or 18.
Yeah. YSC 5 at 7 p.m. Honey Badgers 12. John Denver Experience Shift 5.
Honey Badgers finally get their first win ever over JDE. First ever.
Honey Badger notes, Kenny ballsy back-to-back doubles in the top of the 5th. Kenny great kicks all game. Sav awesome bunt in the top of the 8th. For John Denver, Kalen awesome catch to end the 6th. Doc beautiful first base line bunt bottom of the 4th. And Mendoza perfect liner in the 4th.
Who does JDE play next week?
Give me a second.
Oh, I've got it here too.
I think it's LFK Rays, I think.
Oh, okay, never mind. Because I was saying, this is like a classic.
No, John Denver plays a YSC 1 at 7 against Red Line.
Oh, Red Line.
Okay, never mind.
Excuse me, Red Line. My apologies.
Because this is like, to me, there was no evidence to support that this was going to happen. Like, I mean, this is a team that barely lost, probably should have beaten Post House. This is a team that barely lost to Love Garden. Mind you, they were losing by a good amount and came back. But it's like, losing by 7 to the Honey Badgers was not on my bingo card. But it's like, whatever happens this week, like if JDE was playing Johnny's, they'd probably win this week because that's what they do. Like, it just doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
That's
they only lost 6-1 to Johnny's.
Yeah,
JDE.
that's the JDE experience. It makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
I also will say I've actually reffed a few of JD's games this season, and I have noticed that their ladies, their like 3rd or 4th lady has changed a little bit, so that Well, it probably isn't changing the way that they play the game, but it definitely changes their lineup a little bit for sure.
No, go ahead, Farai.
So, Redlegs plays JDE in 2 weeks' time. I want to play this JDE. After how we played against the Honey Badgers, and then how the Badgers handled JDE. And I'm saying this because I respect JDE, and I know this is not the JDE that they are. They beat us last year, so hey, give us a little help. Show up the same way in 2 weeks' time, and it won't be good.
I would say I'd rather see you and JDE play this coming week than in 2 weeks because of both of your losses and how hard that game would be.
Absolutely. That would have been excellent. But we get a little break between.
I like it.
Yeah.
Got a summary from Avery from JDE. Quote, this game was all about Dustin Gordon. He was 2-0 as a Denver versus the Badgers. He's now 1-0 as a Badger versus the Denvers. Because Dustin Gordon is Kenny Camberline's roommate. We came a bit flat, tied up in the game in the 5th inning, but never got much offensive momentum going. Also had a down game on defense. A legendary Denver hype man will be returning to our lineup to lift our sunken spirits. #drink shift. So that's
one of my favorite things about this season is literally so many changes and transfers from top to bottom in our league.
Yeah.
I mean, I could count on one hand in the last 3 seasons certain people that might have changed a league or changed a team. This season, I can't even count that. There are so many different changes and players that have moved from top to bottom that have literally changed teams just because of their one change.
I think, the Badgers have really turned their year around. The last few weeks playing, I think, not
That's
only
what Kenny wanted to do.
back to
he said it 2 weeks ago.
The level as expected. I know I've given him a lot of shit over the year about his schedule, what right, wrong, and different, how much he likes it or not. I think they're appropriately scheduled. I think that they were tried over the fire. They got fucking burnt and didn't like it and are responding accordingly. So I'm going to be really interested to follow the Badgers the rest of the year, keep them motivated and see how this run turns out, if it can be sustained, because it's not like the schedule's going to get any easier, and then we're going to push right into the playoffs. So congratulations to the Badgers. I know Avery's probably really pissed with this result, and like Bryson said, one of the more unexpected results out of the week.
Yep.
And I know I picked against them. So congratulations, first time ever, and Kenny proved me wrong.
I'm going to get on my soapbox as a board member and actually on the podcast tonight, have time to be on the microphone and explain scheduling and the way that people are bitching about scheduling. Honey Badgers would probably be one of the teams in our older scheduling that would blow teams out. Just blow them out. They're one of the few teams at the top of the league that are getting hurt and blown and roughed up by the teams that are their close ranks. That's exactly what the rest of the league has in our scheduling. We have 2 weeks in the entire season that you should have blowout games, and the rest of your games should be as equally matched as we can, so to speak, right? Whereas back in the day, 5 years ago, I think we started our new scheduling the
3 years ago.
Season right after COVID. So in 2019 was the last year that we did that ridiculous scheduling where it was pool play and then it was ranked play. That is a thing of the past. If you want to go back to that, you're more than welcome to get blown out for all your games for 6-7 weeks of the season and not have competitive games.
It was horrible.
Okay.
Who sent you that, bro?
What's up?
Yeah,
Did he break up with you?
No, I'm waiting for
that was his next factor.
summary. It's waiting for Kenny's summary. That's all.
So we are going to read this. We are going to skim through and make some good choices.
I'll be quick.
We're going to keep it nice, tight, and quick.
I'm just waiting for Kenny.
I know
It's
Kenny.
a long one. It's a long one.
Yeah, Kenny sent us a monologue, but
gosh.
we are going to read
Here
through
we
it.
go.
I want everybody
Here's
to
from
get their
Kenny
time to
Caroline
decide.
from Honey Badgers. Quote, I hyped everyone up before the game. We came up super hot against JDE. filling the bases immediately and getting out to a good start. They answered back with a couple of runs. It was close for another inning or two. We made some defensive adjustments since week 3, and they really made a difference for us. Bunt blocking and shutting down the speedy top half of their lineup. They couldn't get people on, but just couldn't get them around. They got some people on, just couldn't get them around. Offensively, we've been on a tear, taking a ton of extra bases, utilize our speed. Good bunting and place kick by our ladies helped move our runners. I kicked 5 for 5 in the 4th spot and drove in a ton of runs as well. It felt like we had to control most of the game, but I told everyone to play hard enough in the end, knowing Avery and JDE wasn't going to quit. First franchise win over them, which felt extra good, having their former teammate Dustin Gordon on our team, who would like to say he is now undefeated against both teams. Much love to JDE. Good luck the rest of the season. That was it.
YSC 6 at 5 p.m. Excellent note-taking here. Ringers 17. Our host right down here at Louise's downtown in the upstairs, 1. Notes, Ringers, Brooks, first inning home run. Bard perfect, gapper for a triple, back-to-back home runs for Brooks. Great kicking by the whole team. Brooks, Thaddeus, more like Daddius. Much improved from last season. Scoonies, double play in the first to contain some of the Ringers' momentum. Clearly not enough. Center fielder has an arm. Darren Scratch in the second, still meets requirements. Shortstop tap up to center field for a catch and double play in the top of the 3rd. Great kicks by Tozer, 2 weeks in a row. Not a nice catch by right field in the top of the 5th. Zach, great catch at catcher with a pop-up bunt. P.S. I don't recommend slides into first, Sean. Great fight in the bottom of the 6th to try and keep the game going. Brooks, fill us in on this public beatdown.
Well, it's great to be up here talking about a win, and not just that, a definitive win too.
Season defining.
Yeah, I would say we're not done yet though. Ready to just keep grinding, keep getting better every game. Everyone in there is sacrificing for each other. You know, we're all doing it the right way. Playing defense, better every game, man. Better every game. Those first 5 games, I can't tell you how many times I said we're just right there.
Indeed.
This last weekend was the first game where it feels like it all really started coming together. So, yeah. Got to shout out Max. Max played great defense during the game. Got to shout out Barrett. Barrett kicked just great kicks all game. Marshall, Mitch, Kelby plays all over the field. Just everybody out there is just doing the right things, and good things are happening. So,
is this your second win?
This is our second win.
I love
Number
it.
2,
I love
baby.
it. Well done. Well done. Well done. Carry on. I believe you. I believe you when you say you're not done yet.
We're not done yet. We're looking at 3, 4, and then playoffs beyond. You never know. So let's keep it up. Let's keep moving.
I do want to just put a shout out to Elizabeth Carr from the board. If you would like to know what an actual score sheet should look like, that is filled out with every foul, every double kicker with their initials, every RKI, defense, offense, notes up the sides, masterclass on how to be a scorekeeper. Go to the score sheets this week and look at the HQ Ringers score sheet, because Elizabeth Carr knows what she's doing and does an amazing fucking job and has really nice handwriting that we all can actually read for the first time ever. So, thank you.
And speaking of which, congratulations to Liz for the big win, 16-1 in the pick pool this week, with the big win defeating the Degenerates. She was the only person to choose Corksucker. So that was
Red Lion. She's the only one.
Yeah, the only one to pick Cork over Red Lion. So
impressive, Liz. Well done.
YSC 6 at 7 p.m. Taco Zone 7, Global Cafe 5.
I call the score margin. Extra point. Yay.
Thanks to Nick from Screamers for pitching warm-ups. Alex scratched in the 6th. Janae triple in the and 3 RKIs in the 5th. Mags never played. Jimmy out in the 5th.
If anyone hasn't seen Janae's play, get on that Facebook group and watch that play. Watch that triple RKI. Damn.
Wow. I have been touting the ladies and our non-binary lady people all season long, and I always have. But I will always say, and I will continue to say, that your team is not as good as your ladies and your other genders on this team, period. We're a male-dominated league, obviously, but damn, we're not as good as our ladies are on our league, that's for sure, period. Period.
And what a team other than Taco Zone to roll into right at this time. Such a hot streak for Global, just absolutely leaving wreckage in their fucking paths. So far, you've known them by the trail of the dead bodies left behind them. And Taco Zone just, once again, comes in and KTZs it up. Devin approved.
Yep.
And I don't think brings Global back down to earth. It's more of reminds the league of who exactly Taco Zone is. Their definitive win of the year, but what's crazy about it is that any other year, I think you'd just call this another Sunday for Taco Zone.
Yep.
This is obviously a precursor to what our final Sunday will probably be, let's be honest. So,
by the way, Global's Cafe, Taco Zone owns them because Global Cafe guess how many wins Global Cafe has ever beaten Taco Zone?
One.
Only twice. Once was last year to break the winning streak of Taco Zone, and the 2021 KVKL title game.
Did they win the league beating Taco Zone?
What's that?
They won the league beating Taco Zone.
No, without Alex McKee. Without Alex McKee. That was 2019.
Without Alex McKee, okay.
God damn it, Matthew.
I'm glad I came back at the right time. My take on this game really comes down to I have no idea on earth how your outfield gets beat by Janae in the year 2024. Everybody knows how fucking good she is. No, you know how good she is. No, you're misreading what I'm saying. I'm saying you know how good she is.
Okay,
how are you letting her kick the ball over your head?
Thank you.
Yeah, it's like...
Because I was going the opposite.
Yeah, no, it's like... How are you getting...
The opposite shirt.
How are you getting cooked by Janae? Like, you know she can do that. That's like what she does. She never bunts.
That's literally what she does.
It's like letting Zach kick the ball over your head. Where it's like Zach does not bunt, so never try to stop him bunting. Put your whole team back. And so, she won the fucking game. That was miraculous.
Okay, here's what happens, right? Same thing with any other male player or female player on Taco Zone. You know what they're gonna do. You set up, and they still do it. So Janae is just one of them. Is that army?
You know what's surprising is that Global Cafe and Taco Zone has played together how many times?
Yeah.
And they still don't get it against someone like Janae?
Well, up until
No. They should know to not play scrunch up. Don't scrunch out and get burned by Janae.
They should know that.
They should know that. That's what I'm saying. They should know that.
well,
And as much as I also I love all of this, but I also went straight to this because of Janae having a baby and being a little bit slower now. But also, these teams have played against each other for 3, 4 years, 5 years.
More
they
than
know
that.
each other.
It's more than
they
that.
should know about
Yeah,
Janae.
they should.
Doesn't matter where she's at in her life right now.
Yeah.
She's still a fucking badass bitch and makes that shit happen.
I don't know if it was said, but fuck, if Jimmy was out of town this week, Global might have got fucking shut out. Jimmy is so fucking good. I've said it for fucking years on this podcast. I've said it for years on the Pyre podcast. Jimmy should be banned from the league. He's too fucking fast.
Is cheat code?
It doesn't fucking make sense.
Is Jimmy a cheat code?
Same thing about Kenny Flanders.
Is he a cheat code?
He's a fucking cheat code.
Cheat code? Yeah.
it's like
6 for 6, 4 of their 5.
Well, and it's like the one time he got out at home because he ran through third when Kenny already had the ball.
Yeah.
That's what. So it's like he literally like fucking carried the team. And like I will say they didn't have Isaac, and I think all the respect in the world to Mike Z. Mike Z is not Isaac. And I think it's when you have that 1-2. It's like Mike Z comes up to kick and you have runners on first and second, completely changes it. But then when Mike Z's up to kick with just a runner on first, and I think that was one of, besides Janae fucking winning the game, big turning point.
And I mean, really through 4, Global controlling this game, playing the way they wanted to play, and Taco Zone put 5 from their 6 through 10 spot in the 5th inning and just never looked back.
And that's right. When I saw the score sheet, I was wondering if it was an offense inning or a non-defense inning, right? Did Taco Zone just kick that well, or did Global just have a ghost inning, as we like to say? Did we just have that one fucking shitty inning that we just didn't play defense correctly, and they scored that many on us? It's the one inning that changed the entire game.
Do you have anything else, Cougar? All right, YSC 7 at 5 p.m. I think Nick said it best, just 2 heavyweights knocking the shit out of each other. Love Garden 25, Red Legs 18. Great kicks. Walker D and Spencer bounce over the fence for ground rule triples. Trey over the fence triple. That's the same thing. And great kicks by both teams. So 3 ground rule triples. Yeah.
Joe play defense?
My ghost ref this game, and I shout out to everyone that played the 5 o'clock game. Fuck this fucking weather. Oh my fucking god. I cannot even imagine having to play that 5 o'clock game, and shout out to my ghost that actually refed the 5 o'clock game that I didn't have to actually stand out there myself, as I've had for years before. But we were sitting in the shade. We were sitting in the shade because Corbin and Junior got it held down. So
Katie, you want to know what's impressive about this week is the actual temperature and the real field were hotter than week 1 of the tournament last year. Everybody played.
Exactly, and that's what was wild to me.
Was it?
And that's what was wild to me. We have not had any warm up. It's only going to get hotter, you assholes.
No, not this week, though. Not this week. Katie's going to be nice. It's like 83 on Sunday.
It's going to be fucking hot when we get out there.
83 is nice.
Right now, you're sitting out in the sun reffing, and 90 degree weather, it's still fucking toasty.
All right. I'll also say, we're not ready to talk about the game yet. We cannot have a heat out. I cannot afford that because I'm going to Chelsea versus Man City in London August 18th, so I cannot have a rain out or a sun out. My team is fucking playing, and if a team doesn't show up, if the league cancels, I'm taking a forfeit.
All I need you to do, Bryson, is post on a comment. Fuck the weather.
Yes.
You've done that the last 2
I know, it
times.
works every fucking time. I'm like 6 for 6 on that shit.
Do it, please. I will say, I know I played this game, but my team ref this, and I watched this entire game. This was a barn burner, 100% for sure. I will say that there was a little bit of a edge on Love Garden from like the third inning for sure, and you all were fighting a little bit to get back for sure.
So first of all, I'd like to say it's an honor to be on the podcast and representing the Red Leg Nation. I love them. They've brought me in. I feel at home. They are my people. There is an unsung hero from that game, and that's Bessie. Bessie kicked like nothing else, and she drove us at very important moments in that game. So shout out to that, to her and all the ladies on our team. Have you seen how they kick? And Kara with the friendship bracelets and the excellent kicking as well. Moving people, getting us scoring. Excellent play from all our ladies. And Katie, you mentioned it perfectly. You're only as strong as your ladies. Shout out to our leader, Jordan Miller. You're in the world. That's power right there. And they're all there. All speed, great kicking. great attitude. Everybody, I love it. That being said, it was a total shootout. You win defensive games when you lock it down. When you play a shootout, you never know how it's going to pan out. So at the end of the day, that's what it was, the final score. Both teams showed up. We had great kicks from our top of the lineup. We had great support from important parts of our lineup, which is every part of our fucking lineup. Fucking Red Leg Nation, carry on.
This was game of the week in my mind, and everyone should go watch this video because it definitely was videotaped for sure, and it will be out there.
Hi, Amberly.
Hi, Cougar. So I just had one thing to say also. I did have the privilege of reffing this game. And I also think I maybe saw him, maybe not, but if he is here, I got to give it up to Mr. Nick Benton, if I'm right.
He's not here.
Okay.
Is that captain? Yep.
Mr. Dude, that ginger is fucking insanity. Okay, I want to give it up to that guy. He is fire crotch from top to bottom. That guy is just fucking fire, and I gotta give it to him. I love it. I definitely didn't. I think I maybe not called him a captain last time I was on the podcast, and for all disrespect, boy, trample me. I deserve it.
He's been a captain for 3 years.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, beat my ass, boy. But no, I got to give it to him. He came in with a in the field home run. If in the field in the park home run, and that boy is running bases. He is screaming, ripping his shirt off before he even touches home plate.
Jordan wanted to stop at 3.
No,
and Nick is like,
you're going.
Behind us, like, we're not stopping.
It was like a stampede of Mustang. So I do want to give it to him.
I'll also say that ball was like caught when he was at first base. So it was like he literally outran the ball for 2.5 bases,
Literally,
which is nuts.
literally. That's what I'm saying. You watch this video because Marcus actually
recorded that one. It's good.
This game was a masterclass in kickball. Period.
It is GoPro official, sponsored by Marcus Reynolds. His Venmo is linked below. You got any shit to say? Put it in the Venmo with the comment and the cash. But yes, Nick Benton, please stay on forever, and Red Legs, I love you forever.
Not only that, just mark my words, Fry told me earlier he's going to facilitate and make it happen. Before the end of the year, Betsy will be on the podcast.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Betsy Hatch, you're listening to this right now. I know you are, but you will be on this podcast before this season is over, 100%.
I guarantee it.
On this podcast. I love everyone here. I don't even want to be on the podcast tonight, but I was asked to be on it. Everyone else on this fucking league needs to be on this podcast.
I thought she was going to be on.
The same people every week.
Talk to her. I do have a rule issue to discuss later on.
Okay, we can get that.
But let's keep it moving.
We're going back to discussion questions. So
I have one comment, 2 comments actually. My first one is going to be about Betsy Hatch. There's no better feeling than when you fire a comment off in the Facebook group and no one interacts with it for like 3.5 hours, and then Betsy Hatch comes in with the whole care. That's just okay. Well, like,
I don't like your whole day.
Somebody talks me off the cliff, which is nice.
That's a veteran KVKO social media Facebook girl right there.
Yeah,
she knows when she needs to drop her fucking shit and say her shit. I fucking love Betsy so much.
Yes, and I will say, as an egreged, angry person that picked Red Legs to win this game.
Me too.
I just have a quick 20 seconds here. You guys, in my opinion, where you guys lost that game was not realizing that you scored half those runs on errors and not on being better than them. And you guys abandoned like what you're good at very quickly because what they were making errors on was working. And like the last couple innings, it just felt like you were popping out to their outfield left and right. And it's like, my take is you guys are fucking good. You gotta know what you're good at, and if they get it out a couple times, it's fine. Like, stick to what you're good at, because I think you guys could have scored more, but that's the game. That's all I have to say.
Don't defeat yourself. Don't defeat yourself. Just play the game.
YSC 7 at 7 p.m. The LFK Rays 6. The Goose 13. LFK. Emberly was a great coach and motivator. Love the women empowerment. Ghosts. Adam home run in the 5th. Corbin, great triple. Great vibes. Shout out to Kelsey. Great job.
Cougar, do me a favor. read the top message here in this conversation on the mic.
I have a couple of my ghosts that are in attendance.
Katie,
even though I'm on the podcast.
Katie, give me 5 seconds before Corbin talks. Just read the top message.
Stand by.
Marcus told me last thing to say, we're going to get revenge on ghosts.
Who's that to?
Who's that to watch?
Read the names to the top.
Sam and Emberly.
I told Sam and Emberly when I wanted them to join our team that I would help them avenge their loss to the Ghosts in the plate final. And what do you know? They stayed on our team and lost to the fucking Ghosts, and my team beat the Ghosts. What are we doing, man?
So ironically, I was going to give the microphone to Corbin. I was going to give the microphone up to Corbin first to talk. The only thing I have to say in response to that is, in our pregame speech before this game, love my LFK Rays, but I did say to my team, as far as I'm concerned, the Ghosts are 5-0 this year.
Boo, Bryson. Boo.
What are we talking about?
If we played you or Harpies this week, easily would have beat you. Easily.
We're missing 4 starters. We had 3 people that never played kickball before in our game that game.
I gotta say, if we played you this week...
But if we played you this week, we would have won you.
No, you wouldn't have.
Name, I'm gonna
No, you wouldn't have. No, you wouldn't.
Boo for both teams that actually played
If you
this
mention
game.
my name,
Corbin would have shut your ass down at third base the entire fucking game. So
Let's talk about the game.
if we're gonna mention my name, I'm gonna speak. Is that okay now, Sean? Okay. So I do want to mention it was a damn great game, and as I said beforehand, I'm gonna chitter chatter and I'm gonna speak my shit. And luckily, these young men took every inch of my long dick shits that I gave this Sunday. Okay, I talked so much shit and was so happy to be able to play with a great ass team that not only did not take it personally, they did not take it personally, and their feelings didn't get hurt, but they didn't also tear down character. They were great sports, and I gotta give it to Ghost. I love them immensely. We got a message, but also mentioning Sam and I on the Rays and staying on the team. I guess it's more Sam and I are not out to make some NBA professional fucking all-star team just yet. We're not on that gang just shit, you know. We are on that gang shit with the Rays, but no, I gotta say I love them dearly. They are my heart and my soul, and it's just not time to leave them anytime soon. You know, we're still building.
and when you do, you're coming to Ghost, so it doesn't matter.
We're gonna call them Ghostbusters, baby.
Thank you, Emberly.
YLC 8. Hold on. I do have one comment. I do have one actual real comment to make that probably wasn't on the notes about this. I don't know if there's notes on our game at all on this at all. Sorry. I do have to give a huge shout out to Amber Sidwell from from R-Bar, who came in. There's Amber. Yay! Amber came in as literally the most veteran referee on the group that was there. And while LFK Rays and Ghosts definitely don't bitch about calls, we certainly wanted to say some things and had some things to say about what was happening. I need to reach out to the Recess Rejects, who put 2 referees on a team that, while they probably didn't think that we were going to bitch about things, you still shouldn't put referees out that have absolutely no idea what to do, have never been out there before, and you're not there to support them whatsoever. Amber supported every single referee on that field and told them what to do and how to do their job from literally 20 minutes before the game started till the end of the game, and held that entire game together as the only referee on the field that actually knew what she was doing, and literally trained every single person on that field how to do their job. So shout out to Amber. Thank you very much, darling.
And just lastly, I feel like such a dick for just now saying the Rays actually, so we batted 6 females that day. We were down 3 males also. We had Sam, Darren, if you don't know about my catcher, please send him all your good loves and prayers. He's out for 4 to 6 weeks. Dumbass. I'm just kidding. I love him. And also...
Last week.
I love how far I was going to admit it on the grass. No, don't slide if you don't need to slide. So not to take too much time, but I just want to say thank you to all my ladies for going out, kicking ass, and taking names. Batting 6 females in a very competitive game ain't easy, but to still keep it in there, keep it a close game, I'm going to say pussy power forever. Let's go.
This is why you're my favorite, Emily. You're always my favorite.
YSC 8 at 5 p.m. Recess Reject 7. R-Bar 22. Recess, Josh's birthday today. R-Bar, James, ground rule triple in the 5th. MSB, lucky he scored in the 7th. And the Gabby walk-off Ricky. We have some R-Bar folks here. Anybody want to comment on the game?
I got a summary from Chris, unless someone from R-Bar wants to talk about it. Or I can talk about what Chris said.
Yep, let's go.
All right. Quote from Chris Robinson from R-Bar. Quote, started out as a close game in the first few innings, traded a couple of runs, then we were able to break it open and string some good runs together. Recess fought hard to stave off the run rule in later innings for a while. Finished after the 8th inning, it was hot. Incoming Sean comment. Really? Okay, whatever. Shout out to James from our team, one of the R-Bar owners, for smacking that bounce over the fence triple. So there you go. That was from Chris Robinson of R-Bar. Yes.
All right. YSC 8 at 7 p.m. Woost 15, Jazz House 7. Notes on this were Jazz House double by Vila in the bottom of the 8th. Woost in the park home run by Dan in the top of the 7th. Rock with a run-saving catch deep in left field. Did you get any notes on this one, Cougar? Anybody?
I have a note. I was going to say, when I was, how old were the kids on that team? 19, 20, 21, 22, right? Yeah. When I was that age, I sure as hell wouldn't still be showing up at week 6 after getting my ass beat every week. So it is actually very fucking impressive that they're able to field a team every week, because they are literally getting their ass kicked every fucking week, and they're young. My take is they're young. Like, there's so many more things they could be doing than playing kickball on Sunday nights. So
here's what Rick from Jazz House said. Quote, "Oh Jesus, same story with a different cast. We played our best game yet, but defensive crumbling and a lack of base path awareness have done us once again. We started most earned runs this season, so there's that. It's a really fun game. The Wolves really wanted it. Dan Malga's absolute beast last Sunday. My kids get better and better. I just wish we could pick up the pace a little bit. Ha ha." So that was from Rick. Then we get it from Dan Malga. Here's what Dan said. Quote, "Wolves offense started rolling early in the first inning and kept going throughout the game. Jazz held us for 3 scoreless innings in the game. Jazz did give us some trouble with some nicely placed kicks, scoring 4 runs in the second inning. We did manage to hold them off with 3 runs the rest of the game, stealing the win." By the way, you know who played for Roost? Joel Kelly. Welcome back, Joel.
Indeed. Back in a special triple feature DJ set at the replay.
Oh, it was great.
afterwards.
It was awesome. Yeah. Good to see you again, Joel.
Hobbs Park, 7 p.m. Sacred Sword 21, Sod Squad 13. Notes on this game, Sod Squad, nice hands by Ross, 3rd out in the 3rd. Nice 2-out rally in the bottom of the 4th. Great leadoff kick by Kelly in the bottom of the 6th. Outstanding 3rd out by Ross in the top of the 7th and 8th. Nice defense for 3 outs with bases loaded in the top of the 8th. For Sword, first inning really nice on the ground kicks. On the ground kicks, I assume. Good snag by the 3rd baseman in the bottom of the 4th. Great 5th inning. Efficient movement of the base runners. Do you have a recap on this one?
I do, from Adam. Adam from South Squad. Quote, "After last week's podcast where people on the panel called us for get run rule and shut out, I took that a little personally." Oh, wow, okay. "In the past 3 years, we've only run ruled by 3 teams, Johnny's Shirt Factory and Post House. I thought we came in and had a good game plan, and we had them sweating for at least a bit. They scored 8 runs in the 5th, which I take blame for myself for not making good throws. Ross had 2 awesome shots to get guys at home. Ben took a kick in the outfield. That's That's your point, Paul. That's your point, Ben. Ben took a kick in the outfield, so it was so hard, you can see the imprint of the ball on his shirt. Oh, Jesus. Despite the final score, we all played pretty much agree is our best game of the year. We hope to build on that for the second half. So that was from Adam. So here's what I got from Josh Hunt of Sacred Sword. Quote, fun game, pretty normal pattern for us. Made mistakes early, then got in the flow of the game and cleaned it up. Focused on moving the runners offensively. Defensively, we made some uncharacteristic mistakes, and we tried a couple of different people in new positions. We had some good movements overall, C+, B- defensively. Oh, wow, actual grades. I like it. Soft Squad was solid and a great bunch of folks. Ross threw out 2 different runners at home, throwing from the base pad as we touched the plate. Good stuff, thanks. Wow, that's goodbye, Ross. So,
are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. So, obviously, I have an inside scoop here. I have 2 qualms with this. The first one being, fucking Sacred Sword is asking for the Honey Badgers in the Facebook group from our key matchup, and they're running their mouths and they're laying down in the outfield. They were losing for a majority of this game. Sacred Sword was losing.
We have in our mouths,
Sacred Sword was losing for a majority of this game. And I'll say this. I used to be on Sod Squad, so I feel like I can say this, and no blame needs to be put back on Ben and Alyssa for this. But there are players on Sod Squad that are not as good as the rest of the players on Sod Squad, which is perfectly fine. They have fun. That's perfectly fine. And I'll say this. Sacred Sword only won this game because they deserve credit for it, but they capitalized when Sod Squad put the players that are not as good as other players on the team in the game. And that is exactly what happened. The score sheet says it. I mean, it doesn't, but it says it.
How many teams have you been on this league, Bryson?
4. This would be my 4.
I think there's like 7.
Well, Channel 6 turned into Geezer, that same team.
Yeah,
and then I joined Drop Stoppers, and then I joined Post House, and then I was on the band's team. That was a pretty solid
So you're saying you should go coach Sod Squad as well?
Yeah, I do coach them. Last year, I coached them to a win against Jazz House. That happened. I was there. I'm looking at a deal.
I'm more than 7 teams.
I should.
You've been on 9 teams. You're coaching teams as well, too.
Yeah, I do. My services are free. I don't charge people. What I'm saying, though, about Sacred Sword is, like, they're a good team. Like, at the end of the day, they're a good team. They act like they're a top 5 team. And my qualm with this is that the Sod Squad is nowhere near that realm, and you were losing for a majority of this game. I think we got to reel it in and try to fight for 14th. No, they act like they think they are. If you ask those kids, they think they're a top 5 team, 100%.
Yeah. They do act like that. Give them the badges, they will be humbled.
Yeah. They will be humbled this week. They're going to get humbled. The humble's coming.
Oh, they're definitely going to humble. I'm sorry, I didn't talk to the actually younger kids on that team, but there is no way they're a fucking top 5 team in this league.
No, they're not, but they think they are.
Bryson, they're kids.
I love kids for the. I
like kids. I don't like
kids. Everybody hates Sacred makes me like them more.
I don't like kids.
But it's coming. It's coming.
I don't like kids.
Hobbs Park 9:15 game of the week. Post House 4, Johnny's 12.
And I got something from Simon. There's no notes.
Yeah.
Quote from Simon Skinner from Post House. We had a great time even though we lost. CJ, by the way, Legends CJ Kai, he's back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back from Connecticut. Pitching rapid fire, forcing me to take the ball and pitch first inning. Threw me off completely, so we were unorganized defensively. Our offense continues to struggle, and we dropped like 7 balls right in our hands, in the air, on the ground. We don't have time to practice together as a team, and it shows. Hopefully, we can get it together come playoffs. Johnny's is a great team, and I know they'll be there competing for the cup again in the championship. Quote, unquote. Again, welcome back, Joe Kelly, KVK legend, and CJ Kai.
CJ Kai still got it, bro.
He does. Yeah.
It's the greatest leadoff kicker in KVKO history.
Absolutely.
And he showed that he still is. He wasn't leading off. He used to lead off for them.
Yeah, sometimes.
No, he was their leadoff. The last years they were all men, he was their leadoff, 100%. He kicked the shortstop, and mind you, everyone used to want to go at shortstop back then. But he used to kick the shortstop every single time.
I'll ask CJ.
Ask him.
But he still got it, dude.
He plays twice a week in Waka Rule kickball. He plays twice a week in kickball.
Yeah, he still got it.
Oh, he does, yeah.
So we were trying to figure out when the last time he would have played would have been. So I guess that kind of answers it. CJ plays regularly still, or
yeah, he plays twice a week in Connecticut. Okay. Waka Rules kickball.
Okay.
Yeah, so he plays twice a week. He told me it took him a little while to get used to back to the KVKL 8.5-inch kickball on dirt.
It's different
than on grass with the 10.5-inch Waka Rules kickball rules. So it's the adjustment period. So yeah.
Not a lot of thoughts on this game. I think it kind of turned out the way I expected it to. Post House just kind of having a rough go finding that meshing point so far this year. Like Simon alluded to, it's tough when you don't have time to get together, to practice, to work through things, especially when you are a legitimate top 5 team every single year.
Yeah.
And to be able to still compete at this level without that practice is scary. I mean, to me personally, that's scary. I think every year they're scary, and come week 10 and the playoffs, they're going to be scarier than they've been all year.
Well, here's the thing is that... Hold on, here's the thing. The Post House, they need time to get in the mesh, but remember, they lost to Global Cafe 21-5. Who would have thought that they would lose to a top 3 team 21-5? This is Post House. They're 2-time champions.
I mean, I don't want to put them down, but knowing the absences they had that week, I don't think the loss was as surprising as the score. I expected them to lose, but the score was the only surprising thing of that game.
By 16?
I have to say...
I mean, that's what, their largest defeat in how many years?
Sean,
probably ever.
One bad week, any given Sunday, as we all know, but against the team they were playing, I don't think it's a surprise that they lost by that margin. That's literally the only surprising outcome of the game to me.
Johnny's watching them play. If you were somebody who doesn't know kickball and you watch them play, you would understand exactly how they run that game. Where in the field do you kick it?
Yeah.
Where in the field do you kick it?
We had multiple people in the broadcast booth talking about how they were a professional kickball team, and that's the way that they were playing and just their kicking style. And I would say, we don't have a lot of games that are recorded throughout our league, but certain games that are, per Marcus's discretion of where he's at and what he can do and what Brant can do, I would say that we have games that are just like this, where the way that Johnny's play, that other teams play, that people don't see in our league.
Yeah.
Right? But I will say that Johnny's certainly put on a masterclass of how to play kickball on Sunday, period. Post House has struggled a little bit this season in terms of where they're going with their lineup. While they have new people on their league or their team, they also still have people that are seasoned in kickball and play very well and understand positions and understand how to coach. I think that Simon has been tiptoeing a little bit this year in terms of his coaching and how he's been changing the way that he's been coaching this year as a Post House. If you're someone who's a coach, and I'm looking at Bryson right now, as someone who's a coach in the league, I actually have looked to Simon in my past years to help me and learn how to coach in kickball, knowing that he knows a little bit more about me than kickball myself. But as a coach itself, while I am a coach's daughter and I grew up and work in sports and I know how to coach, I don't know how to actually coach and really think about that. And I think that's something that Simon has struggled a little bit this year because his lineup's just a little bit different than what he's wanted the last few years, for sure.
Well, I'll say, obviously I was on that team, I got 10 times better at kickball playing with Simon. When I asked Simon to join the team, that was my goal. I was like, I want to win a championship, and I know I will get way better playing with you. Obviously, the discourse that's happened this season, a little tiff, some people on the team saying they got better without us. I think here's my honest take on Post House. I think it's perfectly fine to say they're very clearly missing the 4 people they lost: me, Keedy, Marcus, and Jess. I think that's perfectly fine to say that. And I think at the same time, I think what sucks almost to the point we make with Red Lion is Simon's getting older, which makes, first off, he's a significantly probably like more kind and nice person than he was when he started. Like he doesn't yell at people anymore. Which is probably a positive testament. But like that team, I think is missing the cutthroat Simon that maybe just. Like, he doesn't want to be that. Like, it's perfectly fine to not be that person.
Well, here's the thing about I think the reason why he's not yelling is because the veterans he's brought in, he doesn't need to yell at. You have a Becca who's coming from the Harpies. You have Josh coming from the Harpies. You have Dakota coming from, I think it was Global and stuff like that, and other players. He doesn't need to yell at them. He basically got this, the old saying goes, you can lead the horse to the water, you can't make it drink. He basically says, look, they got to figure out themselves as far as mesh with the team, these new players. It's going to take time. So there's nothing that Simon can do on his end because they're veteran players, but they got mesh. It's going to take time, and they have no time to practice because they don't have that time to practice.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I've heard multiple teams from top to bottom say we need to practice because other teams are practicing and getting better together.
What's hard?
100%. That will make you better as a team to practice together. That's the one thing in KVKL that has been lost, I think, for a very long time until the last few seasons that we've done that. Bryson, I will say, while you may think it's a loss that you guys left that team, I will say that the pulls that he pulled onto that team are just as good, if not better, than the losses.
I think I'm not saying it's way more than talent. It's way more than talent.
But I also want to give Simon a huge shout out because not only has he changed in the last decade since I've been around him as a captain, he's changed in the last 2-3 years as a captain because he's actually coaching an actual team at Free State High School for the girls soccer team, that he's been doing that as an actual coach for years.
Yes, he has.
A lot of us walk into this league and act as if we want to be coaches or should be coaches or are coaches. It's just kickball. It's just kickball.
Yeah.
It's you're going for a boot to you know you're drinking shots out of a trophy that Nick Lerner's balls have been in. Like, you don't go to head for Free State soccer. I appreciate that Simon has gotten a lot better as a captain and understanding the way that he actually treats people the last few years because of the way that he's actually been having to actual coach in a real setting that's not KVKL, because this is not a real setting at all, period.
By the way, Megan's here from Johnny's. I'm trying to get her to come up here and talk about her beautiful 2 RKI double. Oh, now you'll talk? Okay, talk about Megan. Here's Megan from Johnny's.
I just want to say Post House was so fun to play against, and they had great sportsmanship. And shout out to my girl Tina on Johnny's because she had a rough weekend, but it was so fun. We love the competition.
Yeah, last thing. Everybody saw Johnny's running fucking drills before that game, right?
Yeah.
They're fucking running drills, bro.
Here's Megan.
Talking about practicing, we practice every week. Thank you.
When I was on a certain team, bro time, we run drills with them, and I'm like, damn, what's going on? That little drill where they're doing that triangle, that diamond, and then we beat them in that game. So that's a pride on me, and I scored a home run in that game, by the way. But anyway, nobody has mentioned the power of the ladies on Johnny's. Those ladies, power. Carrie, damn. Megan, they didn't need you, Megan. We would have said on JDE.
So Cougar, we're going to run down week 7 here. We are only going to stop on the picks for the week.
That's fine.
We're just going to breeze through this. We're going to keep it nice and tight for everyone. Thank you to Louisa's Downtown.
Oh, that's right.
Right here where we are live from this evening, upstairs in the climate-controlled
What's the address?
Serenity.
You know the address?
No, not off the top of my head. 1009.
1009 Mass Street?
Mass.
Thank you, Katie. Real quick in the standings, real quick. Ben went 1 and 2. He's 12 2nd season. Sean went 1 and 2. 12 2nd season. I went 1 and 2. 10 8. But I got the Taco Zone margin right.
Yeah.
Guess what? 3 and 0. 11-7 with the poster, and gets to 2-1, 10-8 with a bonus pick. So Burton and Sean are still leading, but the margin is smaller.
Yeah.
So there you go.
It keeps inching down. It's a rough year.
Are we not doing discussion questions?
We're going to run through week 7 and let's do discussions. YSC 1 at 5 p.m. Scoonies at the Roost. YSC 1 at 7 p.m. JDE Shift at Red Lion. YSC 2 at 5 p.m. The KBC Tropics at the Soda Jerks. YSC 2 at 7 p.m. The Midnight Tokers at the Late Fees. YSC 3 at 5 p.m. Empire at Jazz House. YSC 3 at 7 p.m. This should be a really good game, too. Cork Suckers at the Honey Badgers.
You think so?
I think with this win this last week, I think this could be a good game.
What are you saying?
I'm not saying that it's going to be...
What game?
Cork Suckers, Honey Badgers. I don't think so.
No.
I'm saying...
That's going to be bad,
I'm
bro.
saying that this is
No.
Cork Suckers will...
Litmus. I don't give you that. It's good litmus.
You drop this in there and you get red immediately. There's no litmus to be had here.
By 10?
Let's run rule them easily.
Run rule easily.
IFC 4 at 5 p.m. Bob Beavers at the Recess Rejects.
That's a pick'em game.
Now that is a good game.
That's a pick'em game.
game.
That is a pick'em game. Who wants to go first?
Fry?
Fry, you go first. It's Bob Beavers versus Recess Rejects.
Recess Rejects are run ruled by Arbar, right?
Yes.
Yep. And Bob Beavers has one win, which was a
Forfeit win.
forfeit. I love Bob Beavers. I love Andrea. I don't think they're winning this one.
Wow.
So it's recess.
Oh, thank you.
No, I'm going Recess Rejects. No, I can't. I love the Bob Beavers, my former teammate.
Yeah, it's got
Hammer, Andrea, Anna, Anthony, Curly or Prawit. I love you all. But no, it's Recess Rejects. Katie, who do you got? Bob Beavers or Recess Rejects?
100% Recess Rejects. Are we doing a score line? or
No
just
score line on this one. Yeah, I think...
What do you got, Bryson?
Recess.
Recess, yep.
Yeah, that's going to make it a
It's
sweep
across
on
the
that
board.
one.
Recess, yep.
I'm going to go Recess Rejects.
Yep.
YSC 4 at 7 p.m. Free State at Post House.
Run roll. Get right spot.
Wow, okay.
It's a get right. spot.
I think Free State might be Ralph chuckling. Seth?
You're not getting Red Bull Free State.
No. This is a classic. Everybody is super impressed with what they did last week, and everyone's like, Post House just lost to Johnny's by a good amount. Post House was missing a lot of people last week, and they aren't going to be this week. And I mean, this will be easy. Wow. This will be very easy.
I agree.
Is that the rule too?
Yeah, I think they'll be very angry with all their people. They're going to shut it down. It might even be like a zero. What do you call those?
You think it's shutouts? Shutouts?
Yeah.
They'll score.
Shutouts?
So I picked a shutout. And
You're crazy, you two. You two are crazy.
YSC 5 at 5 p.m. Rick Rollers at the D-Holes.
This is a pick'em game. D-Holes and Rollers.
Katie, you want to lead off on this
You
one?
go first.
Wow, you're putting me on the spot, aren't you?
There's no commenting on it.
This is there's no commenting. You don't get to be on the microphone. I'm just staring you down and wondering if I should actually pick you or not. You know, I gotta pick my D-holes. Sorry. I think there's a bit of a veteran play there. While they're a little bit older and a little bit slower, I think they're a little bit smarter. So I think I'm gonna give the edge to D-holes.
First of all, are you calling Jeff dumb? Are you calling Jeff dumb?
I did not.
I'm kidding. I called him dumb when I was a captain, but he's fine.
Yeah,
No, he's fine. No, I'm not calling him dumb. I call him dumb when he's a captain, but that was long ago.
Okay, here's the thing. I don't think it's close in terms of skill. The Rick Rollers are so much better than the D-Holes, skill-wise. I don't think it's close. My problem is, dude, it's like a classic. Like Rick Rollers have not been in a close game in the 7th inning all year, and it's impossible to know what they're going to do when they're in that situation. And what it comes down to me is I'm just going to put them in the hole of the KBC Tropics. I'm going to pretend that they were KBC Tropics in the 10th inning last week, and I don't think they would have made the right decisions to win that game. So I think the Rigolos are so much better than D-Holes.
It depends on what Steven does.
They're so much better than the D-Holes. I'm being serious. Like, it's not close, but the problem is you don't get better beating the shit out of teams. You don't get better in clutch moments beating the shit out of teams. And this is going to be the first time they're going to be in a close game. Yeah. And it's hard to get a lot. I say D-Holes, but I will say this, it would not surprise, there's no world the D-Holes win this game by more than 2 runs. No world. There is a world where Rick Rollers rule D-Holes. I'll say that. There is a genuine world where that happens, but I think we live in the world where the D-Holes win by 1 or 2 runs, and that's that.
Okay. I know that Rick Rollers have got some individuals with some real ambition, with goals, and they're trying to lead that team to feel that way. They have a championship to win. So D-Holes, I feel, are kind of coasting as gatekeepers. Rick Rollers are young upstarts who want to get it done. So Rick Rollers, I'm giving them the nod.
Rick Rollers. You're going Rick Rollers. Okay. You know what? You want to go last or want me to go next?
You can go next.
I can go next. Okay, so D-Holes, we know the controversy, blah, blah, blah. We all know that. And now you got all these people staring at me, my former teammates. Got Michaela, got Malloy, and Jeff. Steven, you're not former teammate. Leave me alone. You know what? Don't let me down. Rick Roller's fine. Whatever. Fine. Yeah, don't let me down. If you let me down, it's Jeff's fault, always. Love you, Jeff.
Hey, Paul Santos, all due respect, though.
Quick and to the point, I was going to pick him anyways, but I think after Bryson's speech, I double it down. I'm going D-Holes. I think they're hungry.
Hey, by the way, is Bryson going to show up and coach them?
Maybe.
$50. $50. You pay me $50, I'll win your team that game.
That's some catcher on hate fuck right there. As I'm talking about.
YLC 5 at 7 p.m. The Ghost at Love Garden.
I mean, that's not offensive. They're good.
Can't play defense. The problem is too many runs.
Well, I say this again with all due respect. The Ghosts are a great team, but Love Garden's a top 16.
As I said to my team before our pregame speech last week, we are 5, or actually 6-0 this week.
We're about to be 6-1.
YLC 6 at 5 p.m. Red Legs at the LFK Rave.
Run roll.
Oh, not if Fry comes hungover like he did at this last game.
Hey, Fry, how many innings did you play last week?
No, I kicked 3 out of 5 from a splitting spot.
How many innings did you play?
Fielding? 1. I was out until 5 a.m. and I drank as much water as I could. But them double rum and cokes,
you tried.
AC are stronger.
You did really good. No, I want to give it to Bryson. I would say a run rule would be a thing, but Rick Rose, I think, said the same thing about a run rule, and I had to show Jeff. So I'm going to show you too, Stickler. You can stick it in your butt because we're not going to run rule. I'm the one to so I'm Red Legs. I'm sorry. I scored on Johnny's. I'm going to score on you.
I was reliably informed that our Nick Benton was also out for a while.
The night before. By the way, real quickly, his last name is Stricker, not Stickler. Just want to make sure.
YSC 6 at 7 p.m. Young Spine at Johnny's.
Both undefeated.
Yes.
No Johnny's. I'm sorry, Tyler.
YSC 7 at 5 p.m. R-Bar at the Rockets. YSC 7 at 7 p.m. Sod Squad at Taco Zone. YSC 8 at 5 p.m. Global Cafe at Sacred Sword.
Run roll.
YSC 8 at 7.
Wait, sorry, hold on.
No.
Don't tell me that's... What? 1-0. Argentina scored.
Obviously, Bryson has a lot of money on this game, so we're moving on.
YSC 8 at 5 p.m. Global at Sacred, and I will get on board with that. I remember Global taking notes at podcasts, and I know that they've been waiting for this sword game. I will go with Run Roll as well.
Jesus.
Sorry, Josh. Sorry, Adam. Sorry, everybody. That's gonna be the first time I've called one this year.
That might be our first game of the season.
YSC 8 at 7 p.m. Youngling at Shirt Factory.
Hold on. Can I say messed up? One of the pick'em games was what? No. Stop. One of the pick'em games was Empire Jazz at YC 3 5 o'clock. Sorry. Let's go back. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. Back to Empire Jazz. That's a pick'em game. And that's a spread.
Okay.
My apologies. Sorry.
Pick'em and spread. Empire Jazz
at YC 3 5 o'clock. You go first.
While I do sometimes dislike your pick'ems, this is a great pick'em this week.
And it's a spread.
And it's a spread side. Oh, man. Oh, wow.
No.
I'm going to go Empire by 5.
Empire by 5.
Am I allowed to take the same number?
No, you're not.
Empire by 4.
Empire by 4. Okay. Why?
Empire by 10.
10! Jesus! Damn. Who are they playing? Empire Jazz House. No, Empire by 6. Empire by 6. I'll go 6. Sean?
Empire by 2.
Empire by 2. Oh, okay. Wow. By 2. Okay. All right. You may proceed to...
Hit my 5, Brent. Hit my 5.
You may proceed to YC8. Go ahead. YC8. Sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
No, we're at Hobbs Park.
Oh, by the way, Yingling real quick. Sorry, David Shipley wanted to tell me it's Hayden, not Scorchie. Hayden is wanted to bunt home run.
Oh, okay.
It's misspelled. It's Hayden. I'll make sure. Sorry, Shipley.
Hobbs Park at 7 p.m. Asteroid Head at the Harpies.
Harpies mad.
Yeah. Hobbs Park at 9:15 p.m. The game of the week for Week 7. The headquarters Ringers at Cyport CBA.
Are you going to call a shutout, Bryson? Are you going to call a shutout? Do it.
No.
Oh, never mind.
Dude, I bet Ringers will put 15 up on us.
No shutout.
No, they'll put this one. No, dude. I'm telling you this right now. My hand across my heart. I am running Kevin at third base, Haley at catcher, and Katie Marcus at pitcher for the first 5 innings of that game. I know that Ringers have no chance of beating us, and so I'm going to make it fun. Yeah. I'm going to make it fun. Kevin's been gone a couple weeks. Kevin, all the credit in the world. I had never had more than 5 conversations with Kevin before the season. He's perfectly fine with the fact that when we play really good teams, he's going to kick once and field once. And it's like when we're playing teams that aren't at the top, he's going to play the whole game. And I don't know. I'm just going to have fun. It's game of the week. The Ringers are having a fucking fun season, great season. My team's having a great season. We're going to have fun, and I'm going to see how many people Kevin can throw out. I'm fucking excited about it.
Yes.
That one, last one.
And then also Monday night, July 1st, 7 p.m. at Hobbs Park. Spotlight Makeup, Bald Beavers at the KBC Trials.
Or I like to call it the Dana Shoop Bowl, because you used to play on both, this is the Tropics and for the Ball Beavers, and Dana Shoop Bowl. Dana Shoop Bowl. We love him. Yeah, absolutely. This is the second time we played against each other.
On that note,
yeah.
The members of the panel are going to take another shot to come full circle of. Oh, you're okay. for Dana. Cheers, cheers.
Love you, Dana. R.I.P. R.I.P. Dana. Ah, God, why? I love you, Dana.
That was good. What was that? That was good.
So now we're through that. Farai, I know. We'll go ahead in the bottle. We're going to take it back, I know, to just some kickball related stuff here. We're going to go back to the discussion questions.
Okay.
Farai, I know you came with one ready. What would you have on your rules question, I believe?
Okay, so I did talk to Derek at the beginning about that whole line at first, interference
Encroachment line.
So Redlegs have come on the wrong end of that in 4 straight games. I'm not saying it was game changing, but we've got new players who are learning the game, and they are they're catching the ball and wondering, why am I being called out and stuff like that, right? Now, I understand what the philosophy for the rule was, to avoid injuries and whatever, but it's also influencing calls from the umps to basically always favor the runner.
That's actually the point of the line. But
you know what?
The statement you just made is the point of the line.
Yeah, but the rule, from what I understood and what I heard in the past 2 weeks from the board member, was that there is still a leeway. Like, if the ball could still be caught, and as long as it was not endangering the runner.
That was a perfect example in one of the recorded games where a fielder came over the baseline, stayed out of the runner's path, and actually threw the base runner out. Was that the KBC game?
It was Airy for the D-Holes.
Marcus messaged that time.
Even though Ryan had already crossed the 8-foot, Aaron Oxter was out of the way.
Yes.
Out of the way, the orange side of the bag.
Indeed.
And threw the ball right at Ryan.
That's a perfect example of the nature.
Out of the way, not interfering.
Perfect example of the nature of the rules.
Yes.
Both players were on the right side of where they needed to be.
I'll give an example from our game against Love Garden, where if the runner is turning towards the orange bag and the catcher is catching it, sometimes to the main ref, head ref, it looks like they're catching it in front of the runner.
That's why, as a referee, you have to start moving to see better angles of a play.
So, our referee skills, and Katie, I'm with you. How many times have you emphasized that referees, all teams, whoever you're putting on there as a referee, please go and try. We could get more consistency if people tried harder to learn the game as much. And I'm one who said when I was reffing, I said I don't want first base because I don't feel comfortable. And you know what? There was a controversy in our game. That was the Shot Factory Global game. But I would defend my guy. I would defend Brandon McKeever to death. That's what he saw, and that's what he called. But it's a hard job, and some people know that they're not capable of that. Or they could learn, but it could take a long time. So I don't know. What's your...
Or some captains leave their teammates to be in the Wolves, even when they're playing with teams that aren't going to bitch about calls. But don't just leave your referees to just be there for the first time and then walk away. Just help them out at least, please.
Well, I think in this situation, I don't think it's, especially based on your recency of the question, I don't think it's due to a lack of effort. I don't think it's due to a lack of knowledge. I think it's due to, just like in any sport, including baseball, where little is left open intentionally for interpretation, no matter what, almost 50% of the people will be against it, 50% will be for it.
I think you should open this up more.
I'm the exact opposite. I think we should close it off.
Let me give
Wilson's insight, because I honestly don't want to give too much more time to rules questions, because I feel like we've talked endlessly on the podcast for it, and it's not really great content. That's just my thought.
First things first, for at least a majority of the game, you guys play Jose at first base. He's one of the best first basemen in the league. Make a fucking better throw to him. I mean, that's my honest to God first response, is make a fucking better throw. Because if you throw the ball to Jose's like 6'2", like that catch radius is large. So first off, make a better throw. But the second thing,
that's nothing to do with throwing things to anybody. It's bottom line. Learn the actual rules. Read the rules.
I would say,
period.
Well, I'm not going to necessarily agree that they've always been on the wrong side of the call, though, is where I'm saying.
But a lot of players and teams counted on the wrong side of the rules because people that don't know the rules.
Well, no, I agree.
And decide not to talk to their third team on the field and say, this is my ruling, I'm walking away from it, without asking their other players that actually are seeing the ball closer to them.
If you make a good throw, that rule's irrelevant if you make a good throw. That rule never comes into play if you make a good throw.
I also would say that we also argue this as people that understand rulings.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm saying
and half of our league who comes out and referees doesn't know sports.
Well, yeah, I agree.
About sports the way that we
I agree, but I'm saying if you make a good throw, that rule does not matter. That's my point. If you make a fucking good throw, that rule does not matter. You know who never gets called for interference? Austin Engling. Never seen it happen. You know why? Because Lou and Kenny Flanders and Nick Ballin make good throws.
Which I won't argue the same. I won't argue that sentiment, but I will say the same thing I just said about refereeing is that more than half the league doesn't understand that sentiment. So we can't argue in that exact reasoning.
I think also
literally half of this league does not care about kickball. We're just out there to drink, hang out, and make money for our charity.
Okay, I get you with the rule thing, but we could still make it a little fairer.
Yeah, it's an open interpretation. Bryson, did you have any discussion questions tonight?
My only discussion point is honestly just an idea to ponder about for us to talk about. Is I know the board with the new scheduling rule has broken the league into thirds, which I think has been, again, we've talked about it already, a massive improvement to what we used to do with the groups and then the rank play. We've broken the league in. In my opinion, I think if you look at the schedule and look at the standings right now, I think we need to look at doing sixths. Because I think, if you think about it, this league is really closely broken down in these groups of 6, where you have top 6 teams, and then you have 7 through 12, and then you have 13 through 18, 19 through 24, and so on and so on. And that's where I think, Honey Badgers, I agree with what you said, where it's they need to be held to the fire, but I also think at the same time, the Honey Badgers have shown us they're not good enough to be held to the fire. They have never upset any of those teams in the top 4, ever. It doesn't happen.
To be fair, nobody has.
Well, yeah, no, I know, but that's what I'm saying. It's the Honey Badgers have proven that they're at the top of that group right behind them, where to me it doesn't make, if you think about it, obviously we can't think through the lens of just the Honey Badgers. You can't do that. But if you think about it, the schedule has not told us how good the Honey Badgers is, because we know they're not better than all these teams they're losing to. But if you break into the 6th, they just beat the JDE. That's in their 6th. Yeah. They're proving that they're at the top of that 6th. So my take is I'm not saying change the whole thing, but it's if the whole top 6 played each other and all of 7 through 12 played each other, and then 7 through 12 maybe played 2 of the teams in the top 6, and then maybe played 1 team in 13 through 24. I think my take is I think what it can do is answer a lot of questions, because what we're going to do, if you just look forward to the schedule, we're going to have a fucking hodgepodge behind 10. At worst, JDE or the Badgers are the 9th best team. That's very clear, very clear. But you're going to have teams from 10 all the way to almost 18 that have not played each other. No grouping in there has played each other more than twice, and they're all going to have a 7-3 record. Besides D-Rolls, but the D-Rolls have shown us that they're good enough to be in there.
Here's the thing about that, about the 6, 1 through 6, 7 through 12, and I hate to go back to this. I know you did a new schedule, trying to be different and so on, which is fine. But the old schedule go 1 through 6 from pool play to rank play. That was the purpose of it.
You're looking at it. I think you're looking at it wrong.
Like the teams like JDE and Honey Badger that play against each other.
And I understand that was the purpose of it.
10 through 18.
But you're also getting in those first 6 games, first 5 games, the luck of the draw on a randomized schedule.
Yeah, and we've gotten rid of that.
And that's what we've gotten rid of. And you can scoff and look at me like I'm crazy, but speaking as a team that at one point was a top 12 team and a gatekeeper right behind the D-holes in that 11-12 spot, that there were years where our randomized schedule, we became a 2, and we were nowhere near deserving of a 2. And there were
outliers.
Then the very next year, we had the randomized schedule where we played Kansas Tree Care, we played Muddy Water, we played Shirt Factory, and we're suddenly a 2 and 3 team.
Basket was a raw deal,
though. No, it was randomized, and we've moved away from that with the new scheduling. I think in the 6th is the eventual next step in the algorithm of figuring out where our scheduling needs to be, and I wholeheartedly agree that our league is in tiers of 6. When you look, especially if you're taking just the amalgam of this year, and you look, like Bryson said, even the 10 spot through 18, with the schedule we've played, you would think in a perfect world we'd know who the 10 through 18 teams are. However, there are teams that exist like the Soda Jerks that were undefeated until this week and then got shit stomped by one of the only other undefeated quote-unquote mid-tier teams.
Yes.
However, in my personal opinion, I think, and I would say this with my chest any day of the week, and I have not been vocal about my team this year, but I think you put us versus the Rollers this week, we beat them without question. I know, and I know that there's going to be a lot of people that disagree, and that's fine. Because of the way the schedule has worked this year, there is no clear-cut way to say whether we could compete or whether we should compete or whether we should win.
Katie did say every week you don't know who's coming out.
100%.
People have got family thing happening, and sometimes Trip doesn't show up. You guys have a little bit of a handicap.
I don't think
It's always been that way for us. It's always been that way.
I'll tell you this with all due respect.
Yeah.
What position do you think Trip plays for my team?
What position?
What position?
Here we go again.
Is it 3?
No, he's our shortstop, but you haven't seen him play shortstop because we haven't had our whole team all year.
Yeah.
Marcus's fucking hamstring's gone. Well, yeah, because Marcus didn't play.
Yeah.
And so that might. What Sean is saying is like my take with the whole 6 thing. What I think you accomplish is you figure out in these groups where teams are already
the actualities of the 10 through 18.
Actuality, because what I'm saying is like. I'll pretend for a second that my team has no chance of being 10, 11, 12. But it's like, you said we got Young Spine, Rick Rollers, and then D-Holes, and then it's like you have the Harpies, you have my team, you have Midnight Tokers, you have, I'm missing somebody, Red Lion's probably not in that group anymore, you have Free State, you have Sacred Sword, you have all these teams, but none of them have played each other.
And none of us will.
But my thing is, what my take is that you have no idea how good or bad the Harpies are because they've played a bunch of teams that beat the shit out of them, but those teams were already clearly better than them, and then they beat the shit out of everybody behind them. It's like, how fucking good are these dudes?
The only thing they shit out was Jazz House. That was
But what I'm saying is also, like, think about your team, Cougar, for example. Like, we still don't know how good the Trop. You guys just beat the D-Holes. You fucking lost to Free State. Yeah, it's like, and so it's like my take is we're in this weird group where it's like we're gonna get done with week 10, and we're gonna have 8 or 9 teams from 10 to 18 that have not played each other more than
you did beat the D-Holes with help from Bryson. That's why he's mentioning that.
Well, no, what I'm saying is like I think the 6th would be a very good step forward. Where it's like, and also too, I haven't even talked about this. If you look 1 through 6, Love Garden doesn't play post house. How does that fucking make sense?
Maybe in the matchup.
Maybe in the matchup. My thing is, I don't think that's what the matchup should be for. The matchup should be for Cyport CBK was ranked 29th. They beat the fuck out of everybody in their 6th. They beat the team that was in the second 12th. They beat all these teams. Let's put them against the 10th and get that fucking answer. And get answers, or like a team that went 0-5, but 6th place. Let's say that, let's say, I'm going to use LSF. Let's say LSF loses to Post House, Love Garden, Johnny's, KTC Global. So they're 6th place, okay? They lost all those teams, but beat everyone else. But what you do is you put them against someone in 7 through 12 that hasn't played them, and then you say, okay, well, we still know they're better than the 8th best team.
I have
Because what happens is, with all due respect to the board, they ranked Shirt Factory 10th this year because we didn't have any fucking answers. We didn't know everything.
Yeah.
And that's my take. That's why I think we should break into 6th. I also think my last take is I think there should be an open forum, video streamed, board and the league conversation to talk about anything and everything.
Oh, God.
2 hours, get everything off our chest, talk about rule changes, and if the board decides to disagree with us and ignore us, that's fine.
I'm not watching that. I'm not part of that.
Okay, I don't need you to be a part of it, but I think it's a fact, not an opinion, that 600 people are smarter than 7 people, and it's always good to work together. That's all I'm saying.
By the way, real quickly, I want to, as far as like rankings and so forth, will come out in the week, Sean?
What?
RPI.
No, it'll be here this
RPI's coming in the week.
Yeah, well,
7.
Like Seth, you know how to rank people, you coward.
Oh, the week's still September 17, huh?
When it's actually relevant.
Cover?
Yes, sir.
Oh. Once again, a big thank you to everyone who joined us tonight, all the listeners. If you've got any ideas, comments, concerns, drop them on the page. I've got
where are we at
a couple open threads about your feedback and potential future guests.
And where are we at here tonight?
We are right here at 1009 Mass Street at Louise's downtown.
Yes.
Upstairs. Thank you to Bryson Stricker for listening and Katie Keating joining Cubby and myself here at once again Louise's downtown.
Hey, you're outnumbered, Sean. 2 Man United fans over 1 Liverpool fan. Gotcha.
Glory, glory, Man United. Glory, glory, Man United. Glory, Man United. And the rest go marching
on to the Europa League at best.
Totally.
Yeah, keep your coach for life, baby.
Oh, God.
Once again, thank you to everybody. Tomorrow, go out, grab a coffee, buy someone a coffee. Do it for Dana Shoot.
Love you, Dana. R.I.P.
R.I.P. Dana, we love you.
Can we take us out?
All right.